Now, here's a guy who adds a whole new dimension to the term hanging around at a barbecue. Tom Beecham, welcome to Palmerston North.
Thank you very much.
Well, you've been here before with FUSE CIRCUS.
Yeah, we were here 3 years ago with a show called The Navigators at Esplanade Day, and so yeah, here we are back again with a different show called Campground Chaos.
And it looks as if it's based on a good old-fashioned Kiwi campground.
Yeah, it's that, you know, our homage to the great New Zealand summer holiday, and you know, staying in motor camps and getting annoyed with your neighbours, and you know, trying to flirt with chicks and drink beer and have barbecues.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Side A, hand side B, hand side C. Put your hands together and make some noise for Campground Chaos!
So you have a 5-person troupe, and they all play different characters in this rather energetic scenario, I must say.
Yeah. No, it's pretty full on. It's a full hour of non-stop acrobatics and physical sort of work. So yeah.
So how do the characters come together, or how did the scenario come together?
Well, we sort of originally I came up with the broad kind of concept, and then we thought about kind of characters that would be good sort of stock characters to kind of play off each other and stuff like that. So I'm the kind of grumpy, fairly conservative campground manager, and we've got a raucous sort of beer drinking, noisy bogan. A geek, a sports fanatic, a tui, and a tourist.
A tui?
A tui, a bird, yeah.
Oh,
you know,
not the beer?
No, not the beer. Well, we do have some beer tui as well, but yeah, the tui, or some people think he's a magpie, but he's supposed to be a tui, you know. And then we worked with a clown director and a dance choreographer and a set designer, and we, you know, 3 years ago now, we had a big sort of 6-week rehearsal process and devising and worked in people come with their existing circus acts, if you know what I mean, existing circus skills, and then we kind of try and lace the theatricality in amongst that, if you know what I mean.
So where do people pick up circus skills in this country?
Well, there was a course down in Christchurch, a 2-year course called Circo Arts, which is unfortunately it's on hold at the moment because of the earthquake. They lost their building, but yeah, there's a 2-year you could get a Polytech diploma in Circo Arts. So hopefully that'll be, you know, back again. People train in various different ways and all that sort of thing. Originally I did a sculpture degree, so I've got no formal circus training, so my kind of path has been slightly, you know, tangential. But a couple of them in this show are from a cruise ship background. You know, they perform on cruise ships and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, different kind of backgrounds really. Yeah.
And you all come together. These are not the same cast that was in the Navigator show.
No, there's a couple of those guys have moved on to, they're now working with Circus Oz, and just the nature of circus performers do tend to come and go quite a lot. You know, some go and work overseas on different contracts, or some are still here. you know, New Zealand doing different shows and still working with us. So there's a sort of, I suppose, you know, FUSE is kind of a broad pool of circus performers, you know.
Now, you mentioned during the show that you did before Esplanade Day that you're very much in the busker sort of mode.
Yeah, we our summer shows, because we don't have a tent, we can't really charge a box office. So, you know, there's no entry. People don't pay to get in, they pay to leave, basically. So it's sort of, you know, and people are pretty fair. You know, we kind of explain it's a big show. It's not your average busking show where it's 2 trucks and a stage and, you know, rig and all sorts of stuff and lights and sound. And so people appreciate that it is a pretty big production and that we're, you know, try to be full-time professionals. And so generally people are really good. They're, you know, generous and understand the value of it, I suppose, you know.
And how much, it looks like awfully hard work, how much training do you each put into these routines?
Well, I mean, when we're on tour, just doing the shows is fairly demanding. Sometimes we do 2 shows a day, so that's, you know, and this summer we did as many as 3 shows a day one day. And so that's pretty hardcore, you know. Yeah, we do a bit of warming up, and then in the off season we do, you know, just training the acts and stuff like that. There's some cross training, you know, gym work, sort of cardio, fitness, that sort of thing, you know. So yeah, generally doing the skills though is the main thing.
So you described your own path to circus. You literally ran away and joined one, or ran away and formed one.
Yeah, I got into it in London, and then I came back here, and in New Zealand there wasn't at that time much contemporary circus, you know, going on. So I, after I did a master's in theatre directing, I started my own, you know, circus company. I kind of put a business proposal together after a 2-week, you know, business startup course, and 8 years later we're still going. So anyway.
You referred to it as contemporary circus. What do you mean by contemporary circus?
Well, I suppose, you know, as opposed to traditional circus that has animals and you know, that and clowns and that sort of thing, and contemporary circus now, you know, is, I suppose it's sort of hybrid circus or physical theatre, because you know, there's dance and acrobatics and acting and, you know, more traditional theatre sort of things. So contemporary circus or new circus is like, you know, you have Cirque du Soleil as well, which is a different kind of contemporary circus, right through to, you know, versions of Shakespearean circus and all sorts. So it's, yeah, it's all human-based circus and often character-driven. So, yeah.
And you've hit the fine weather in Palmerston North. Where are you off to from here?
After here, we've got our last stand down in Wellington. So we've got, yeah, we've been on the road for about 2.5 months and finish up and doing a home game. Yeah.
And all the elements of a wonderful Kiwi summer were on display at Esplanade Day, and a couple of days leading up to Esplanade Day. FUSE Circus. It was a great show.
Go, bounce back! Yeah! Awesome!